Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with another video for you. I wanted to talk about a specific card this time, but I've got some great highlights to go with it. I wanted to talk about Black Blood, one of the new artifacts introduced in Homecoming, and I think that artifacts have a kind of a bad rap right now, but there are some really interesting ones in the mix as well. They tend to be some of the higher provision gold cards, although Black Blood, I think for what it does, is actually fairly well priced, and as well, generally, the kind of thing I like to do in most of the decks that I've been experimenting with is put in 3 artifacts and maybe Avalok the Sage into it. So sometimes 2 Thunderbolts and a faction-specific artifact. Like when I was playing Demavend, I like to play the Bloody Flail, 2 Thunderbolts. Sometimes I like to play 2 Petrie's Filter for the Zeal and something else, depending on the faction I'm playing. Of course, Frightener's a really cool artifact. For monsters, of course, every faction has an artifact that is definitely pretty cool, but Black Blood is a neutral artifact, an artifact that is very specific in what it does, and unlike other artifacts, there is no Zeal component to this artifact because there is no activated effect of this artifact, which actually makes it one of the most powerful and yet one of the most vulnerable artifacts in the game. So let's just quickly talk about all the things you can use with Black Blood that make it such an interesting card. So Black Blood, straight up, is a 7 provision cost artifact that when it hits the board, the next time an enemy receives a boost, destroy that unit and self. So this is a really cool card because it really warps the board state. It really changes what your opponent can do next, and it forces artifact removal. Unfortunately, this is the artifact that suffers the most from artifact removal because when it is removed, you gain nothing and you lost the slot, really. Unless you're running Caretaker or some other ways to really bring back and abuse this card. If it is answered, it hurts a little bit. But there are a fair amount of cards that you can use in your deck that actually influence the boost on your opponent. Outside of the fact that you'll get situations like I had a couple of situations where, well, I think I'm in Northern Realms right now, so I can't see it. But I'll show the highlight. I had a couple of situations where there are units on the board that just automatically boost themselves. Mahakam Defenders, Eskel, Pathfinder, specifically, and of course, the one in question is Milva. Milva boosts every time a Squirtle unit is played. So I had opponents that had Milva on the board. I play Black Blood, and they actually don't know what to do next. So that was fun. And then there's also the situation like, well, I'll show you in the highlight. The better reaction is in the highlight. But just to talk about the stuff that you can use to actually boost your opponent's cards. So the thing about Black Blood is once Black Blood is on the board and it comes back to your turn, anything you have that boosts basically has Death Touch. Targeted removal, which is no joke. I mean, first of all, you do have the Wyvern Scale Shield that basically as soon as it boosts anything, it dies. And then you have the Mahakam, which of course is targeted boost. Now these are all cards that boost enemies specifically. Sorry, that boost units specifically, not enemies. So this is stuff that you can use in your deck, of course, to your own benefit, but of course you can use it in a pinch to destroy any unit your opponent wants. So you have the Wyvern Scale Shield and the Beer. Swallow starts to get a little bit less likely that you're going to use this specifically, but it is boost a unit, so I just wanted to cover it. Sarah boosts a unit, so this is something in a special deck, and you know, you're seeing a lot of control decks out there where it's probably not unrealistic to think that Sarah and Jody might see play, but then again, these are removable engines. So, you know, that's kind of the world we're living in right now where we're not getting those removable engines. Thunderbolt is very realistic. One boost off Thunderbolt kills something, so this is just kind of good to have. Visigotus very specifically just becomes, he's already great, right? Mm-hmm. And now he becomes like a deadly master of the dark arts, right? One boost kills something on your opponent's side of the board. The Unicorn and, well, Nenica, I think the Unicorn is probably less likely. Nenica is not entirely unlikely, just because Nenica is such a good card at 6 strength. Being able to boost whatever you want in that situation. Ale of the Ancestors and Garrison. I mean, these are very unlikely cards that you'll be using offensively specifically, but they all matter because they're all boost a unit. But there's also more to it when it comes to Black Blood. I use Northern Realms as an example because in the gameplay you're going to see Northern Realms, but you could look at something. You can look at Nilfgaard, of course, and you can see that they also have a lot of cards as well that specifically boost enemies. Specifically, Nilfgaardian Knight and Rainfarm both boost enemies, so you're getting full value out of these cards, and you're also killing what your opponent has on the board. So I feel like playing something with playing Black Blood with an artifact deck. Also, I'm not crazy about Nilfgaard's faction artifact. Cadaverine is not great. So I'd sooner play Nilfgaard in this archetype and play Black Blood. But I got some really cool highlights for you. I don't have a deck list for the highlight because I've changed it so many times since the time I got the highlight. But it's really about Black Blood. I think this card is really, really cool. I think that the verdict on this card is that it is probably fine. I think it's well priced. I think that it's well priced for what it does. Very powerful effect, targeted removal, or being able to really kind of lock up what your opponent's able to do without actually sacrificing something on their board. It also has that loaded gun feeling of inevitability that really kind of hurts when it comes to wanting to play something next. Like, what can I do next? I can't do it. If I do this next, if I play this card, my opponent can destroy it. It's the card that in an artifact world, where a lot of control decks are playing multiple artifacts, this artifact is probably the most one of the ones you need to remove the most. I mean, it's no Sihil, let's get real, but it's fun. It's pretty good. I feel like it's not gonna make people hate it, because if you remove it, you solve the problem. Unlike other situations where you're trying to remove it and you can't remove enough, or you can't tech your deck enough for it. In a meta where this is a very strong artifact and artifacts are less prevalent, this is the artifact that people will happily destroy. That being said, there are a lot of ways where you can manipulate this card, and if this card is unanswered, it's going to get you a huge amount of leverage in a game. I actually really like this card. I think it's really well balanced. I think for what it does, for an artifact that doesn't actually have an on-use effect, I think it's very strong and well priced, and I love playing Avalok with it. Avalok, the Sage, of course, the one that draws it. Check out these highlights. I had a good time playing Black Blood, and it's not going to be the last time I'll play it. And I'll see you guys next time. Well, as it turns out, folks, I had some syncing issues with the recording of my Twitch highlights. Sometimes when I drop frames, the highlight is kind of screwed up. So I will show you the highlight I meant to show you, which is just a small part of the game that I wanted to show you. Sorry about this, folks. I'm going to get a full game up for you very soon. But thanks for watching all the same. I think that all my comments on Black Blood stand, and I'll see you next time for some more in-depth highlights. Thanks for watching, my friends. Like, full test boosts, right? He can't even use full test without killing something, right? It's so funny. I think I just go Frenzied Dow here. I mean, I think I'm safe, really. I just feel very safe right now.
These dogs have no honor.
Yes, full test it. And he's dead. Oh. Oh. Yo, doesn't it sting? Doesn't it sting, though? And now we play Witchers, right? Or now he plays Witchers, now we pass and he plays Witchers, and we go into a 7-card long round where I still haven't drawn any engines. I'm holding my chest, like, I just have to...